All right. We want to welcome everyone joining us here to celebrate something very significant for Elite Publications. This is the 11th year since the launch of Elite Publications. And of course, we're with Dr. Jessie Bowen, also Grandmaster, of course. And I'm so excited, Jessie. I know I've been along for many of the years of the journey. And there's a lot to be said about just even starting something, let alone doing it for 11 years. So first off, congratulations on 11 years of good work, Jessie. Just real quick, as we start to begin here, one of the things I wanted to ask you was just what are you feeling right now approaching your 11th year?
I would say, I'm not going to say shocked. I'm going to say very grateful. We never realized 11 years ago when we started to produce a book of what the future would be. We didn't have a thought. It was just something that we were doing that was good, and that good was to honor my martial arts instructor for all the years of support that he'd given me. His business partner, Dale Brooks, had passed away. So I was hosting an event anyway, sport karate event, was a banquet. So we decided to honor Dale Brooks. And I think that was the beginning of realizing we would not be here forever. And we wanted to do something to, that the students, the schools, the organization could know a little bit about who Sensei Brooks was, and be able to share some of that. And so we decided to bring together people that they had known and write about them in a book. So there was never an intent to create any book beyond that very first book. So from where we are today and the things we've been able to do over this past 11 years, international best-selling author, and then being able to produce other authors, we really didn't have any foresight of that actually happening. But that's what happens when you walk in a perfect place, and you have that support, and other people show up and they're supporting you. And that's what we've had through our 11 years journey, is thousands of people who have supported us, have been a part of our publishing projects, to elevate us to where we are today.
Well, it's very exciting just to see us approaching the 11th year. And I just wanted to say, one of the questions I want you to think about is what inspired you. Now, that's why you did it. You could make an argument that was your inspiration, but I know there was a deeper seated reason why you decided I want to go on this journey and really start really launching, publishing intentionally people's stories. But before we go there, I know you always have a story about what really inspired you to capture you in terms of, doing what you're doing in the martial arts arena. I think it dealt with Chuck Norris, how he inspired you to just get started on some things, and just the difference he made, probably not even knowing who you are, the difference he made for you just because he put himself out there. But can you share that story? I think it's always an inspirational story.
Well, and I guess, Jim, it goes back, that seed of the power of image, the power of words. I guess I really recognized that the very first day I started martial arts, I'm celebrating my 50th year of being in the martial arts. But that very first day that I had joined the martial arts class, this was, going back to 75. I had just moved to Raleigh from the country. When folks live in the country, they're not exposed to a lot. So I had never seen the word karate on a book, not in the library. Never seen it, never thought about it. And that very first day I joined the martial arts class, I left and, I'm excited. And I'm walking out of a convenience store and I see the word karate in a used book stand. And I'm going, it's like the red car. You don't see a red car until you buy a red car. Everybody's got a red car. But I saw the word karate and I go over and I pick up this magazine. It was Karate Illustrated. And I open the magazine up, and the first image I see in this magazine is Grandmaster Chuck Norris holding this giant trophy cup and his foot up in a chair, little old lady, him in his uniform. That was my first image. That was my very first image. I knew at that very moment I wanted to be a karate champion. I wanted to be like Chuck Norris. So that magazine inspired me. Then I subscribed to it, Black Belt magazine. I had every magazine that ever came out. I owned that magazine because I read them every month. Who's doing what? It became so inspiring for me. So my journey in publishing was from understanding that feeling that I received about knowing who Chuck Norris was and how he inspired me in that magazine. And then as a brown belt, I had a chance to go to his tournament when it used to be held in Virginia Beach, had a chance to meet him, took a photograph with him. We shook hands, we chatted. I said, okay, Mr. Norris, what do I need to do? He said, keep showing up at class. That's his message to me. Keep showing up. And that moment still is engraved in my brain now of meeting Chuck Norris and what he said. Keep going, keep showing up. And so that's what I've been doing for 50 years. But that magazine, meeting Grandmaster Chuck Norris, and then, back in, was that 2000, had an opportunity to publish the Martial Arts Masters and Pioneer, do a story, have him on the front cover. That was sort of like that full circle. You're the guy that, that image that actually empowered you to want to move forward by their performance, and then have a chance that, you look at 30, 40 years later, you're now writing a book with him. He's featured on the cover. So I think that is really the inspiration of learning. I've always wanted to learn. I was and research it and be a part of it. But I think that really inspired me. My teacher was an author and a publisher. So I was in that arena, in that background, learning. And that's why I wrote the first book, was because they were publishers. So I did something that they could connect to and that they could understand. But that inspiration came from seeing that magazine. And that's the reason why, and I've learned from that is to constantly read, constantly study, constantly make myself, better. And now the power of storytelling and how my story can help you. My story can help someone else. So being able to share that story to help make people better. You don't have to come, if I've made a mistake and I fix that mistake, now you don't have to go through it because I'm telling you about the pitfall that's in front of you. And that's one of the powers of actually becoming an author, is that you have an opportunity to share your story. The problem becomes a lot of people don't realize they have a story, so they don't really have anything to share. And when people have a chance to sit down and write in our biography books, that's an opportunity to see where they are in life. Because if you're not able to fill a sheet of paper with your life story or what's impacted, you may be wasting a perfectly good life. So that's sort of the thing that I try to think about. We're trying to stimulate people to discover themselves, to find their story, and to share their story with someone else.
Well, you've shared a lot of deep thoughts there. If people really was to think about what you said, one thing you said was you saw this thing, karate, and it just inspired you. And now it seems what you said, if I got it right, is now you know how you can really make a difference because of that inspiration through your story, your personal story. Is that correct?
Right. I'm hoping that someone will, see my stories, or we've just completed 52 books I have personally written myself. But that's 52 things that I was doing.
Yeah.
And that's 52. Then what does that mean? I mean, I write about everything I do.
Yeah.
So, if I'm doing goal setting, I've got a book on goal setting. We have a new book coming out. I was journaling. And so now we got a whole book series coming out about journaling. What am I doing right now? I was a professional bowler, and I was the bowling coach for Duke University. Guess what I've got? I've got a book out on bowling. So whatever I'm doing, if I've got to write a note about it, I might as well write a book on it. Why not, find to be the best at what you're actually doing? So whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're a mechanic, if you are, if you're great in your relationship. Somebody else wants to know, how do you become great in your relationship? So by being able to share that. So this past 11 years, we have met thousands of individuals. We've helped hundreds of people to publish their books and have that feeling of what it means to become a best-selling author on Amazon, to see you're not number 14,020, but you're number one, or your book is in the top 100 best-selling books. So when we are actually publishing and we're writing this book, we're getting people to read these books. So they go to Amazon and buy a book, or they go to Barnes and Noble, Books A Million. They're buying a book. Guess what that's doing? That's also monetizing. So you're creating revenue from that. So, all those things in. So it's more than sharing my story, getting my story to help people. And those people are buying my books. So that helps me to be able to monetize. I don't have to work a job out because I'm retired, So I'm doing this just because of the love of it, but I'm being blessed that we're making a huge impact, and we're trying to give back to make sure our authors, they receive that impact too, of how to monetize their books. And remember that you are monetizing a book because people are reading it. You can write a book, but if nobody reads that book, then that book really doesn't have a lot of value. It has the personal self-satisfaction. I want to help people. I want to find different ways that I can help them through my experiences, or whatever's going on, to capture that knowledge. And then guess what else, Jim? That because I have a book that is sort of like inherited property. So my kids, that my books will go way beyond me, that my kids will benefit, from that, my wife. So, so it's tangible. It's something that's there. But when you start to write, you start in the area of self-discovery.
Right. Well, one thing you shared a lot there, just about your life, what's going on. I know there are people out there. I'm just going to jump right into this. On the 11th anniversary, I know, I know you're not ready to slow it down. You're ready to actually pick it up, Jessie. And I know there's a lot of technology. I want to ask you some questions about that in a little bit, in terms of how we can help people. There are people out there that are probably thinking, wow, how can I get started? Tell my story. I've thought about it, or maybe I haven't, and now I'm thinking about it. And then there are those that have already published a book, maybe knows that they can take it a little further. All right. Now let's talk about that a little bit. All right. People that are wanting to publish their book. You've been through a lot. You've published how many books yourself, Jessie? How many have you?
We just crossed 52.
All right. Of your own, correct?
Right.
All right.
These are mine.
So that's a lot. People are working on the first one in some cases. So you're the real deal. And one thing I wanted to just ask you here is that you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of methods. You've researched a lot of things. I know that personally, just with our interaction, you're very thought through in some of the stuff. In terms of things that you've learned, right? People wanting to tell their story, right? They could go and just write it themselves, which is perfectly valid, right? What would working with Elite Publications do to help them accelerate getting that done? How in a practical way can you help somebody tell their story and get it done more efficiently?
Well, Jim, the other reason that, we got to be a publishing company was that in that first book, it was pretty easy. I did it myself. We didn't have KDP. We didn't have all the technology we have now. So I really did that book myself and, with other people helping to edit it, but brought it together, had the cover design. But I did that. The second book, we were going to hire a publishing company to do it. And this was in 2016. They wanted $30,000 to do the book. So that was a problem. They wanted $30,000 to do the book. So I had a dream about doing this book. So I took the book on and I started doing it. And my good friend and mentor, Grandmaster Joe Corley, he was right there. He's a great writer and he has, great lingo. And so he and I came together and we started to bring this book together. We hired a staff, and with, trial and error, we started to build the 2016 book. In fact, I actually designed the graphics for the book cover. And I designed the back cover of the book myself. And, because I did not have the funds to pay $30,000 to produce a book. And so that was that opportunity for me to discover what to do. Now, that's a lot of work and having a lot of people there to be able to help you to be able to do it. So we created an easy button and an affordable program to help people to be able to publish their book. We mastered the game of marketing the book. So for the past, we've got 10 books we've launched, over the past 3 years that have made the Amazon International Bestseller List number one hot release in 4 countries and over 40 different categories. So we have, technology has arrived. We now have that capability that our authors, they don't have to worry about doing that. We can guarantee them that their books will be at the top of Amazon's bestseller list because of that. So it became a learning experience that we were committed to, and we've done it so many times in this past 11 years through the Who's Who book, the Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers, now the Legacy books. And what we're doing, the people that are in our books, our biography books and our anthology books, we're teaching them how to write their own books, how to market their books, and how to monetize their books. In fact, in our Elite Martial Arts anthology book, we generally have about 20 authors that write in each of those books. And so that is the first step for them to be able to take the chapter that they've written and now turn it into their own personal book. So we've created something nobody else has actually done. So now you write in our books, you write on the topic of the secrets to life, the secrets to leadership, or the secrets to business. And now we turn around and let that be the first chapter in your book. So we have now helped numerous of our contributing co-authors now turn their chapters into their personal books. And so now, in fact, last week we had Grandmaster Brandon Wilson, his book made the International Impact Award Author of the Year. So people that never thought about writing books, now they're being globally recognized from doing that. And they're drawing, revenue each month from book sales because of what we're doing. So we're creating creativity, we're giving the know-how, and then people are receiving the benefits of becoming published authors.
Okay, let's say somebody is an author, or maybe just they're thinking about it right here, right? They could either set up an appointment or go to the website. Where would you direct people, just so people know where to go?
Well, I go to our Elite Publications website. So on our Elite Publications website, I'll bring that banner up.
Elite.
So on the Elite Publish, elitepublications.org, go there and they can schedule an appointment and we can talk about, your project, give you the ins and out. Yeah, if you're thinking about publishing a book, you have to be very careful because you can lose the rights to your book. And not a lot of folks know that. So, or you go to a publisher and it's their books and they're paying you the small percentage of revenue that comes back from your book because Amazon gets a piece, the books cost, and then the publisher gets a piece, and then you get whatever's left over. So we've tried to eliminate that process. So we publish your book, but we don't get your royalties from the sales of your book because we set you up with your own account that all revenue comes to you. We will help you manage and market your book, but when it comes down to where's the revenue going, all of that's going to you. So we step out of the way. We're not a middleman. So you got your Amazon or Ingram account, and all the money comes to you. Most publishing companies, they take another piece of that. And that works for us because, when I finish a book project, you have an option, Jim. You can continue to let me manage that account, or you can take it over yourself. You can give it to someone else. You have your own ISBN number, so you own the book. And other publishing companies, they give you an ISBN number, but their name is on it. So, you just lost control of your book.
One of the things that I hear you saying is that you're going to save people a lot of time and headache because they don't have to go on. Well, they're more than welcome to go on your, 10, 11-year journey. It's kind of like changing the oil in my car. There's a reason why I don't do it, Jesse. I don't know how to do it first. I can figure it out. Probably be a mess. I will eventually get it done, though, okay, just to say that. Where I can just have somebody help me do it. And real quick, I think you've touched upon an important subject. You have the publishers, the main publishers. Those are the big names. And you have self-publishing. We're really helping you to be a self-publisher. And so we're helping you do this and giving you the power to decide, what do you want to do? Do you want to make all the profit? Do you need help to get to the next level? Whereas other big publishing companies, you have pretty much one map that you follow. That's it. But it's going to cost you quite a bit. Back then it was $30,000. I actually heard somebody get quoted 50,000. So can you just really quickly define the difference between self-publishing versus, publishing from the big house? You've kind of said it already, just so people are clear. Why is it important to go this route for people that aren't established yet, especially, and aren't really well known?
Okay, so let's just say that I go with a big publishing house and they're going to pay me. And that's what people want. I want to write a book. I want you to pay me to now market my book. So if I have an email list or access to, let's say, 300,000 leads, 500,000 leads, and okay, I'm going to give you $100,000 for your book. Well, okay, because now you're somebody that everybody wants to know what you're talking about. They want to know about that subject. But I've got 500,000 leads of people that are buying my books and, well, okay, so that book is costing you, let's say $30. It's costing the publishing company probably $6. Okay. And I've got this huge list of 5,000 people and 500,000 and 100,000 of those people decide to buy a copy of your book. So I can afford to give you, $50,000 for your book because I've got this huge number that I'm going to get as the publisher, I'm going to get the money from. So, you look at somebody like, I think Jake Tapper just came out with a book. And I think, so I think last week when it came out, now that book had over $60,000 in sales in the first 2 days. So as a publishing house, I don't mind doing that because you're going to help me make money. And so in self-publishing, you may not have that huge list, but you're earning your revenue by actually you're keeping more of the revenue. And so that's one of the big things. But somebody needs to have social media skills. Somebody has to have a mail list. You have to have the paid advertisement, a lot of things to get out there. So it's a huge learning curve that you have to go through. And then most people never survive the learning curve. Jim, most people, if they're lucky, if they sell 50 books. Yeah. So if someone publishes self-publishing and they get a book out there, they're lucky. Then after 30 days, they generally give up on it, and it's just sitting out there in the universe, doing anything. Right now, we have about 12 books that are in the top 100 best-selling books. That's best-selling books. But it's because we pay attention, we market, we do a lot of things to make that happen. And my books are pretty much, I call them seasonal books. I don't promote all 50 of them at one time. Mm-hmm. So they're split up through the year that I pay the most attention to based on what's going on.
Yeah. And, I call those shelf sellers. They're on the shelf. And, just to let you know, Elite Publications will help you create a marketing strategy. Even before your book is published, you should be generating revenue. So, that's a strategy that definitely is taught here and stuff as well. So just understand there's a lot of great things that you can be really mentored on, coached on, that will save you a lot of time, money, and headache as well. But one thing I want to say, Jessie, kind of like a publishing house going to say, I'm going to buy your book. It's not easy. For instance, hey, Jessie, I wanted to be like the next Jackie Chan. I want somebody to pay me $1 million to do it because I think I'm worth it. Do you know how many offers I've gotten? 0. Mm-hmm. It's just, it doesn't matter what I think. What matters is reality. It's the same in the publishing arena. The chance of your book getting picked up, I don't want to discourage you. If you're on that path, great for you. Really not likely, though. Like the person that wants to be an NBA player, there's only a certain number of people that get selected. So the good thing about being, self-publishing is that you control your destiny. You may not get all that money up front, but again, if you get that opportunity, great. Not likely. That's just the reality of life. That's the truth. But being self-publishing, you can get started immediately and get started on that path.
Well, Jim, I have offers coming all the time. I've got a couple of what I call my key books. Every month there's another publishing house calling me and want to buy the rights to that book. They just haven't hit the right number yet. So, even if I write a book and another publishing company is seeing that book is doing well, then they may approach you and say, well, would you like to sell me the rights to the book? And so, again, they may pay you that $50,000, $70,000 just to buy the rights to your book. So it's really important that you write a book that's well. The more you market the book, more people see it, more people buy it. And when you can do that, then you got other options you can do that. That's not even including, the other things. So I sort of look at a book as that giant business card. So I write a book, it sells for, let's say it sells on Amazon for $19.95. But now my book is, let's say it's on positive thinking in the business world. And a company wants to hire me to speak. So now they may pay me $5,000 to come speak because of that $19 book.
Yep. So
it's not always the book is not always all the value. The value is in what it's doing. I write a book and now I become an expert in the martial arts. We're now doing children's book. So now if you're an author and let's say, I'm going to use martial arts since I'm in that community. I write a children's book. And now when someone comes into my school, And now I give them a copy of my children's book, and they sign up for my 1-year program. And just let's say that 1-year program is $100 a month. So now that book may be the influencer to get them to sign up for my martial arts program. Instead of me selling them, my children's book for $14.95, I gave it to them. It was the influencer. So that book now influenced $1,200 over that next year. They may pay that up in front. But just think about it. If I had 10 people come in that day and I give all 10 people a copy of my children's book and they love it, so now that's $12,000 that's come in. So now let's say I'm charging $200 a month. So you can see how it goes. So the book, when I write a book, is to influence someone, and it opens the door. I was on staff at Duke University for 29 years. I started their martial arts program. But one of the things that impressed them, I had already written my martial arts basic training manual, and that manual became a part of the university. So it was required for every student that came into my class to have that manual. So you see, because I had it, it influenced my the possibility for me teaching at Duke University, because I had all of these other things I was bringing with me.
Yeah. Now, just to let you know, we're really appreciative of all of you helping us really share about 11 years with Elite Publications. Jesse, we're going to be ending out soon, but I know there are people that you're helping. There are authors, established, people wanting to get started. We've already mentioned, we can help you. Reach out to us at elitepublications.org. A lot of information there. But then you also had something that we talked a little bit about. That's your course, right? That people can sign up for. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that can help them? And then at the end, what I want to ask you is, just through the years, you've learned a lot, where you see Elite Publication going in the future. But let's just make sure people that are interested have the resource available, and tell them a little bit about your course right now.
Yeah, so we've released our online training course. So we have a course for authors. The address is running right across the screen there. And so what they can do, they can actually sign up for our course and actually write through our course. And we do give support to them. So when they now sign up, and they can go to our course, and they can get all the writing information that they need to write and to publish their book right from our course. So, we're trying to find ways we can duplicate ourselves, that anyone can now publish, whether it's directly with Elite Publications or go and take our online course. That's another great way to do that. We have podcasts, so we interview authors, we give information. That is to become, of course, you're on it right now. That's to become an author podcast that you can learn from, and what to do. We have tech services that can help you to be able to do that. My biggest question to someone that comes to me and they want to know about writing a book is, the question is, why? Is it a bucket list? Or do you think you have a message that a lot of people would like to know? Because those are two different types of books. The easy book is, bucket list. You don't really have to edit it, because nobody's going to buy it. It's your thing. Or do you have a message that you want people to know? And that can be in a fiction or nonfiction book, Christian book, whatever the genre you're looking to write in. That's the first question to ask, is what is my outcome? What does I want from, my book? The question about, where do we see Elite Publications in the future? AI is here. It's changing the world. I really see Elite Publication becoming the go-to brand, especially in the martial arts community, the Christian community, Again, doing seminars, certifying speakers. So it's really wide open where we can be. And, our whole thing is that we want to be able to not just motivate people, we want to inspire people. Because if I inspire you, you're going to do this on your own, and you're going to get out there and you're going to reap the benefits of what becoming a published author, that benefit it can do for you, for your family, for your business. There's so much you can gain from taking your ideas and now putting it on paper. And, Elite Publications, we've worked hard to become the masters of the game.
Yeah, when people look into this, you said a key word. We started out with what inspired you, and now here you are wanting to inspire other authors. I will tell you, what we tell people is what we want them to believe. What we do, our actions and results tell them what we really meant. Jessie, through your actions of 11 years of commitment, what you've done, just that we can track and just point to the 52 books, the many, several hundreds of authors you've directly impacted, helping many of them write their books, arguably several thousands of people just that are watching. Your actions have shown us what you meant. 11 years, Jessie, really, really incredible. And, just one final thing, as we mentioned, what is the future direction you see of Elite Publications, and how can those benefit those that are really locking in on what you're doing in their future production of a book or possibly something more?
Franchise.
That's good. That says it all.
Franchise. So we're hoping in the next couple of years that we have taken our platform, that we can duplicate it in others. That we can have people that want to not just publish a book, but to own their own publishing company. And so we're trying to build all these things, then hopefully in the next year, we'll be at a place that we can actually offer them an opportunity that they can now buy into a company that's already a proven company, has a marketing strategy, has a plan, and that can help them to be able to create their own revenue from the publishing business. That's the next thing. So if anyone, if you've done a couple of books, but you want to, have your own publishing company, then, we are right there at that place now. That is the next evolution. We're already hiring people to come in, lawyers and people with the background in franchising, to give us ideas, to give us concepts. What do we need to do to be in that place? Because, if someone, decided that they wanted to have $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year of personal revenue coming in, and through publishing, we want to have that system that is there for them, that they can step into it. We've got the support, become their easy button, and we want to see them outperform what we do.
Great. That is very exciting. And so, 11 years getting into that, we've heard a lot how you can get your book published, how you can be supported, but really, hopefully to inspire you to think about your next step, no matter where you're at in terms of producing a book or maybe producing the next book in your journey. I'm going to say Grandmaster Jessie Bowen. And, I know you're very respected. You've already been trailblazing, being a pillar in terms of publication for many martial artists and also leaders in the martial arts industry worldwide. Here, after 11 years, what do you want to impart upon people just with everything that you've done over the last 11 years through Elite Publications?
Well, I guess it's summed up best in my last book, which is titled "Don't Procrastinate on God: The Wealth Kingdom Mindset." You see, a lot of people have a goal, they have a vision, but they don't have an action. And so, I wrote this book last year because, and it was really about me moving forward on the opportunities. We have opportunities every day. You have the opportunity to listen to the end of this recording or stop it in the first few moments. Everyone, you have those opportunities. What is the opportunities in front of you? You know, we provide opportunities to be contributing authors in our compilation books with Cynthia Rothrock. You know, you're going to make a decision to do it or not, you know, because there will be an outcome. If you do, then there's going to be an outcome. If you decide not to, there's going to be an outcome. Understanding that when an opportunity comes your way, to be able to recognize it, to be able to move on it. And, you know, Jim, and that's where your blessing comes from, is the ability to open the door and to take action. Because if, and again, someone maybe this recording may be a door. It may be an opportunity to inspire you to go and take another step. And that next step may be the step that changes your life.
That's profound. I know you have so many thoughts that you can help people with, practical examples. It's kind of like that production of a movie. We say lights, camera. The movie's not produced just because of it. It's the action that produces it, all right? The setup and the implementation and the action. Take action however you want to inspire people. We believe many people's stories, well, all people's stories can have an impact, and I hope you see the vision for your life. We are very excited to be here with you. Congratulations once again, Jessie, on 11 years of hard work, really producing stories all the way from the beginning to today and the future. This is Jim T. Chong, the Walk Star, and also
Jessie Bowen.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.